must realize you are doomed.
Come on in, everybody, enjoying the Scoundrel podcast. Dave and Rich here, and we're going to be talking about House of Dragons, Episode 1, Premiere Day. It's happened. Dude, we're back in Westeros.
Yeah,
Man, man,
definitely.
craziness stuff already. What a terrific episode. It was a little bit over an hour. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, I believe it was. And, um, we're just going to dive a little bit into it. Nothing so serious, but we're just going to say, what is our reaction to this episode? And let's just start from the beginning. I love the beginning part, the interlude, I guess you would say, the prelude coming in. They're talking about the history, basically, of King Jaehaerys. His
Hmm.
two sons, basically, passed away, and he has no heir. He was fairly ill. They're in Harrenhal. That place they showed was Harrenhal. How it was like kind of demolished and everything, where he was sitting in the throne at the very beginning.
Yeah,
And man, that look, that picture, that scene was just awesome. Looking at how Harrenhal was, him sitting down on his chair. I got the chills when I saw. I was like, man, this is so so good. Like just the
yeah,
scenery of it. And I was immediately drawn back into Westeros as soon as I saw that scene.
yeah.
Um, but did you like how they were explaining how uh King Viserys is the main king right now? How he became king? Did you like how they explained it?
Yeah, I love that this episode gave a lot of information. And for only being an hour, I believe an hour and 20 minutes you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
they gave a lot of backstory to a lot of different characters. So I did love how they did a deep dive and gave all the information you need up until this point of how we got to where we are right now in Westeros. So yeah, I liked that they added that.
Oh man, I love how they gave that one lady. Oh man, people are gonna kill me. Look, it's just episode 1. I gotta get used to these names. But the queen that never was, how they
Yeah.
gave her that name. Good lord,
Dang.
man. I mean, it's a good name, but man, does that being called that has to suck, man.
That's gotta, yeah,
That stings,
yeah.
all the way through. And so what did you basically what did name me some stuff that you really liked about this episode that you could tip your hat on. um you
Okay.
know
Yeah.
g-
So,
Go ahead.
from the trailers and everything, from the whole story, we know that it's gonna be Rhaenyra Targaryen against Daemon Targaryen for the throne. That's what the whole what the whole
The
story is
premise
about,
set
right?
up.
The premise of it. So the thing I loved about this episode, it is shows you the kind of love they have love for each other.
Yeah.
There's no resentment, there's no any kind of animosity between them two for being family. I mean, now there's gonna be, but before this whole situation came up about Rhaenyra being the heir to the throne or
Yeah.
whatever. Once that came up, now, but before all that, I loved how they showed the kind of relationship they had before. Like it was a true, like it felt like little sister kind of vibe, older brother, little sister. Like
Hmm.
he cared for her and everything. So I did love how they did it. They showed that their relationship prior to everything that's about to go down right now. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, speaking on their relationship, like that's his niece, that's Daemon Targaryen's niece, and you could tell he grabbed at the little necklace and everything. It
Hmm.
looked like they were a little flirting a little bit. I don't know about you.
Hey,
I mean, they are Targaryens.
yeah, that Targaryen bloodline,
They
bro.
are Targaryens. I wouldn't put it past them whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I know they're speaking about Daemon Targaryen. I know he's guys. I guess he's trying to be portrayed as a villain,
Hmm.
but he's got some layers to him. I mean, he's not just a blunt old villain like a mean bastard like Joffrey or even Ramsay. You could tell, he cares about his family, and I don't
Hmm.
think it's just him being the villain. I think he's rougher under the edges, but I think the other people around King Viserys, I can kind of tell already, they're in his ear, they're exploiting more, what I'm saying, there's other things going on. There's definitely no way he's the main villain. There's going to be portrayed that he is, and others
Yeah.
around him are going to portray him as he's the villain, but there's other people playing around. You could tell him behind the scenes
Yes.
already, man.
There's already
And
one I have in my head, but keep going. I already have one
yeah,
that I feel like is gonna do something.
yeah, they're just mixing stuff around already. But yeah, King Viserys, he seems like pretty calm guy. He's chill, patient, and everything. But just like Damon says, it might be true. He doesn't have the backbone, and it sounds like, maybe even like his hand of the king
Yeah,
is
Otto
taking over a lot
Hightower.
of things that he doesn't
Yeah.
know, and Damon's trying to tell him, "Hey, pay attention."
Mm-hmm.
But right away, they're in, you know, the king's ear saying, "Hey, we got to do something about Damon. He's acting crazy." He's like, "Well, what do you want me to do with him? He's my brother. He's
Yeah.
never ill will to me." So, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of political stuff that's
A
already
lot.
happening, and I love it.
Yeah.
That's what made me fun. I mean, yeah, the action, the dragons, of course, but I really fell in love with the political side of Game of Thrones, how
Mhm.
people are scheming and everything just to sit in that damn throne. Speaking about throne, what'd you think about the new throne room, man? How the new
Oh
thrones look,
yeah.
man?
I loved it. I remember before the show even came out, the first episode, months ago, they were talking about how they added even more swords. I forgot the exact number to the throne just for this series. So the throne looked awesome, man. I mean, they had the swords just sprawled out even from the sides. So yeah,
Yeah.
that part was awesome.
But yeah, there's a couple things I liked more too. The tournament, I love the tournament. They were showing some
Yeah,
action, had more
man.
action than the original pilot in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people remember, but the pilot for the Game of Thrones, it was okay. It wasn't as good. I think
This
this
one,
pilot
true. Yeah,
was
this one,
better
definitely.
than the Game of Thrones. Nothing against Game of Thrones, I mean, that's still one of my favorite. It's still up there. But
Yeah.
as far as like a pilot premiere episode, this one actually beats it. So, and that's pretty good considering a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth from
Yeah.
season 8. So, what did you think about the tournament itself and how it was held? And were you surprised about who won at the very end?
Um, I was a little bit surprised, and I was also a little shocked that Damon didn't kill that guy. I had a feeling, like I just had
Like
a
soon as he
feeling.
turned his back, like,
Yeah, dude, I had a feeling like because he got defeated in front of
oh
everybody,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the Targaryens are a pretty strong family. They don't like to show any kind of weakness. So I definitely thought that guy was gonna die later on. But that whole tournament was awesome, man. I mean, they even showed like whenever they would people would get knocked off, they'd go to the next level and just start killing people like in the middle
hmm
of the jousting match. So yeah,
yeah.
that was nice. I like that.
So I like that too, showing the gore a little bit and everything, but I also like how
Yeah.
it coincided with the queen being pregnant, trying to give birth to
Yeah.
that new heir. And man, was that crazy, man? What was your thoughts in that scene? Her giving birth and then the king making a decision on, the kid's life and his wife's life. What did you
But
think about
that sh-
that?
that shows the great lengths of a series went just for the smallest glimpse or hope of having a male heir. Like he sacrificed his wife without even asking her permission or anything,
Yeah.
saying anything. He sacrificed her, and then we know that the baby only stays alive for a couple of minutes. Um, so that was pretty shocking. The lengths that he
Yeah.
would go. He lost his wife and he lost his son,
Yeah.
and yeah, that part was rough.
Man, it was rough for me because they didn't show much because they could show more, but they were showing her, a little bit of her getting caught up. Man,
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry, but that was tough for me to watch compared to all this other gore stuff that I'm used to watching. Because you know what, it was giving me flashbacks. I remember seeing that when my first child was born, seeing down there. I made the biggest mistake, and it was all the way I was in the back watching like a horror flick, and that just gave me bad like PSD when I started seeing that, man. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it, man.
Yeah.
Trust me, I seen the whole thing when my when she was giving birth to my firstborn. Seriously, I saw the
Yeah.
whole thing, and it was it just gave me flashbacks. But anyways, I was actually surprised that it was actually a boy and to begin with, because I'm like, oh, it's gonna
Hmm.
be a girl. It's a girl.
Yeah.
It's a girl. You know, I'm thinking he's not
Uh-huh.
gonna have an heir. And then I was surprised that it was a boy and it survived for a split second. I'm like, oh shit, where's this going? Because it kind of had me there,
And then you
And then
heard
you
that
hear a little
cough.
cough. And I'm like, uh-oh.
That was it.
And then right away, it goes straight to the funeral over there.
Hmm.
What did you think about that? Like through the funeral, and then actually Damon showing some compassion a little bit to
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, I think her name is Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
Rhaenyra.
yeah, Renera, Renera. He even told her, your dad needs you right now,
Mm-hmm.
because she knows in her heart that he always wanted a son, and that Renera can never be what he wanted, at the time of the funeral and everything. So I love that the whole scene was awesome, especially whenever she had to say Dracarys, and her dragon put her mom and brother on fire and everything for the funeral.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
like that whole thing. But it was just crazy how like it goes from that Damon to the next scene, Damon, where he's at the
Right.
party.
When he was
And
at the a
yeah,
street party and everybody's having sex and everybody's hey.
so yeah,
It was.
this episode definitely shows you two different sides of Damon. From
Mm-hmm.
whenever he's compassionate, he actually shows like that he cares, and then you got the
Yeah.
scene where he just picking out people off the street, rapist, murder, thief, and just starts
Mm-hmm.
punishing them. And you even see a wiener schnitzel get cut off.
Yeah.
It goes from like that length. He's like all over the place, and
He,
then
yeah.
to have that party and kind of like a celebration, and calling the king's son heir for an hour. I think that's what he said,
Mm-hmm.
right? Heir for an
Yeah, that
hour,
was pretty
or
bad.
heir for a day, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was bad. So
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, it's one or the other. It's like they said, it's a coin flip. One day he's, one second he's compassionate and good, and the next day he's just, you know, crazy old Damon or so far.
yeah,
But man, the king finally, said, get out of here. He doesn't
mhm,
trust him, whatever. Go back to the Vale. I think he said to be with his wife and whatnot.
yeah.
But man, I'm surprised that I'm wondering like where is how much long I have a feeling the king's gonna be alive for a while. I don't know
Hmm.
why. Mostly through this whole season at least, I think. Because, you know, I think they're just gonna keep filing out who the heir is, complaining she's not the heir. But I have a feeling the king's gonna last probably the whole season. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling. And then what about you? I know you were just about to say who you think is actually some of the side villains and who's actually playing, puppet masters probably in the back scenes.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to pick the Hand of the King. Otto, I think his name is
Yeah,
Otto
Otto
Hightower.
Hightower.
Otto Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they showed a little bit of the lengths he would go to just to get a just to become a part of the family, just to become a part of the Targaryens. He sent his daughter
Oh
in
God, dude.
to
Yes.
go
Basic
y- y-
seduce.
yeah, seduce him. That's what she was sending. That's what he was sending her in there to do. And you see how they showed a scene where she was plucking at her fingers, and all of her skin was like
Yeah.
off of her fingernails. So it seems like she's under a lot of stress all the time. I don't know like this was just the first scene that we saw him, tell her to go do something,
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I don't know. It shows you the great lengths that Otto would go to just to get into the family. I'm wondering how much further he would go. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
he gave
he's
up his own daughter.
oh
So
yeah. Like nothing too. Like
yeah,
It was expected. Like, go put on your dead mother's fancy dress on too when you go see him. He
Yeah,
told her.
so
It's like, man, this freaking creepo, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty sure he's not the only one. I mean, you got I can't remember his name, but the the queen that never was is
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah, yeah,
You know he
yeah.
he's you could tell he's he wants his kids as heirs as
Mhm.
well. He got that idea too. Somebody brought it up at the council meeting. Speaking about the council meeting, did you like the little Fabergé eggs they put on the
Oh
table
yeah.
to
Please.
represent
Yeah,
themselves?
please.
Little Fabergé eggs here to represent
Yeah.
to say we're in the building. Okay.
So you checked
um
in.
yeah, but
I'm sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, it's funny because I even brought up. Remember when we watched the trailer of House of the Dragons? I even said, "Man, I wonder if we're gonna get to see Valyrian." And we didn't get to see him the way I want to, which is an actual.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. Like the first episode, they show his skull, just
His
like they
skull.
did it. Yeah, just like they did in Game of Thrones. I was really hoping, like, I'm hoping still for like a scene in this
Flashback.
series, like a flashback of how big he was. I want to see him in action. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. They showed a little bit of Valyrian, even if it was just a skull again or whatever. But on here, you see how they like worship. Like, I mean, they have candles all around
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
Like
Hmm.
he was like, I don't know, like royalty almost. And he was just a dragon. Like he wasn't even one of the like Targaryens. But it was just cool
Yeah.
how they showed how they like honored him. So
Yeah. I'm digging a lot of the scenery too. I mean, the way they portraying, King's Landing and the Red
mhm,
Keep and everything. Man, it looks way better than it did in Game of Thrones. I mean, it looks
mhm,
prosperous. It looks like it's doing good. Everybody's more upbeat. Even in King's Landing, there were so many people in there in the hallways. They were showing hallways and different things in the Red Keep. I was like, wow, it looks more lively, more alive, more, I don't know how to describe it compared to Game
yeah,
of Thrones. When
it looks more alive.
It
Yeah,
looked like more people were more prosperous. I mean, they were still scheming, some of the bigger players, but at the
mhm,
same time, it looked like everybody was chill,
yeah,
not like before, not like how Game of Thrones, where everybody was just, like a robot basically there, and you didn't see that many people there,
yeah,
even as workers as much. But,
yeah,
um, what was I saying? Um, but yeah, so what did you think how they kind of connected a little bit with the Game of Thrones when the King Viserys was talking to Rhaenyra,
yeah,
saying, "Okay, you're going to be the heir, but I'm going to pass on what Aegon passed on with his vision, a
yeah.
song of ice and fire." What
Yeah, I
did you
thought that
think
was
about
so
that
cool.
connection?
You know what? He said that, I actually got chills. I love the different connections they have in the show. Like
Mm-hmm.
even like from that, and even something as small as whenever Damon is picking out his first person to joust
Mm-hmm.
with, you see House Bolton, the Ramsey Bolton's house.
Oh,
You
the
see,
Dread, yeah, huh? Dreadfort,
yeah, yeah, and then you see
Baratheon.
Baratheons. You see all these different houses, but it's funny whenever you see these symbols, it takes you automatically back to
Yeah,
Game of Thrones, and you're trying to figure out, all right, who is this? Who is this? You get on your phone and start googling, all right, who is this? How did he go? How did like that's what I was doing. Like whenever they were like giving their word or whatever, making their
yeah.
vows to Rhaenyra, you
Mm-hmm.
see House Baratheon come up and say something. He actually says his whole name. So it's just cool, like the little connections they have with the original Game of Thrones. But yeah, how would you feel
Yeah.
about that? I know you
Man,
were
I thought it
really
was
into the
great. I
books.
thought it was
Yeah,
great. And it kind of reminisces of because I used to tell you I read the books and
yeah,
my favorite character is Rhaegar,
yeah. Rhaegar
and
Targaryen.
just like Rhaenyra and all the other kings before them and the heirs, he thought he was the chosen one, that he was going to have to do that, where
Mm-hmm.
bring everybody together because it's a fable tale of basically this person bringing out of the kingdoms together to face whatever's coming through the north, coming through the night. Talking about the night, you know night walkers or whatever they call
Yeah,
the
the
night
White
walkers.
Walkers. White
Yeah,
Walkers. Yeah,
so the White Walkers. So
yeah.
So it was pretty cool because everybody thought that, except for like, because even Daenerys thought she was the chosen one too. But at the end, Jon Snow wasn't, and he was a Targaryen and everything. He was,
Hmm.
But anyways, I just love how it did connect. And but yeah, speaking about connection, what did you think about the score? Like some of the themes on here, like the
Oh
sounds, like the
yeah,
music.
they
It had a little
definitely,
bit of a
definitely,
reminiscence of the Game of Thrones, but a little bit of a twist at the end. So I
yeah.
was digging it. Did
Dude, I'm
that
not
bring
gonna.
you back too?
Yes, yes. I'm not gonna lie, dude. This first episode, it was one of the better start off episodes for a show I've seen. Like everything hit for
Hmm.
me. Everything. The action, the story, the character build. Like the character
Yes.
build they did all in this just one episode. I know it was an hour and 20 minutes, but they gave you story even on the hand of the king Otto. They
Hmm.
showed you a little piece of him. They showed you a little piece of the queen that never was or whatever.
Yeah.
They show you just a little bits of everything, and then to top it all off, the music was fantastic. The scenery, they give
Hmm.
you dragons like instantly.
Instantly.
So yes, and whenever they show Damon petting his dragon,
Dude,
man,
what did you
I
think of
can't.
that dragon,
Oh my
dude?
god,
That dragon looked badass.
badass. And you know what's funny? You know what I thought about this is these guys have saddles on their dragons.
Yeah.
And you had Daenerys most of the time just holding on to the
To
scales.
the whole to the
It's like,
scales.
yeah. It's like these guys have freaking mounts just looking badass, man. And this is just episode 1, man. Oh man, I'm looking so forward to this entire season, man. I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
you know what? And you're not the only one. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but HBO was having a little problems too airing it because of the app was kind of crashing a little
Yeah,
bit.
I heard about
It's like
that.
12 million people were watching it
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday night, basically, and it
Mm-hmm.
had a little crash. Just a rough estimate. I don't know if it's direct, but it was like 12 million people were ready.
Wow.
Whether they were still people were sour from season 8 and trying to be hating on this or whatever you want to say, people were ready to get back into Westeros. And man, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how much you missed it until you got back
Until you
into it.
get back.
Man, I missed it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sure a lot of people felt the way I did, and I know you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, get over it." But I'm pretty sure a lot of people were ready to get that bad taste out of their mouth from that last season of Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, that they were
Uh-huh.
actually looking forward to this. And
Yeah.
whoever did tune in and gave it another shot, I really don't think they were disappointed. There's no way,
Yeah.
man. This episode gave you so much. So
Well, the question is, what did you out there think about this episode? Did you guys like it? Did you guys think meh? But I'm pretty sure you guys, if you're Game of Thrones fans, you liked it.
yeah,
Leave
you
your
liked
comment
it.
down below if you can. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And please subscribe. Help us get to 500 subs and hit that notification bell and share it, please. Dave and Rich here. This was House of Dragons. What a great start already. Episode 1. Can't wait till the next episode. Check us next time, everybody. Peace.